sequentially anymore. So we were writing down big ideas first, and because we didn't want to think about the actual space. So we're thinking of big ideas, and we're thinking of open collaborative areas, and we wanted some quiet areas. And then we also wanted space for people to get together. And somebody, I think it was you, had a really good idea of what if this was the linked courses hub, and there could be a lot of synergy going on there. So
what is that real fast?
it's some courses that are linked together for first-year students, where they kind of go together for a while.
Same students in different courses.
Yeah,
Right,
so this
so
could be
they'd
a
be-
little hub for those classes, where they could switch classes, and then, anyways, for the design, we decided we would make this space bigger. We moved the wall back a little bit. We felt that we needed some quiet space, so we used these two spaces for quiet space.
So let's say, the reason why we wanted to move this back is because we felt this whole open space here lends itself to nice, casual, collaborative, sitting in a nice and comfy chairs, and and I guess there's steps right here that go downstairs, right?
Mhm.
First floor.
Yeah.
At the bottom of those stairs, maybe we should have a little coffee shop or something, food, kids like food, we like food. And, yeah, and then they could easily go up the steps and sit in this casual space with their coffee and stuff like that. Okay.
Then we had a couple of entrances. We were gonna put the wall or something, barrier of some sort, some type of, you're going into the learning space here. I don't know if it's floor to ceiling or halfway or what, but there'd be an entrance on both ends. A couple of places where, or 2 or 3 spaces students could reserve for groups later. Then these bigger tier areas, from what we understand, those walls are kind of staying. They're getting new carpet now, they're tiered, so they're gonna be tiered. Kind of like the performing arts area, this Lincoln Center, but we wanted bigger tiers that were wider. We wanted some chairs on wheels, so that the tiers could be flexible. We wanted lots of monitors on the walls. We wondered, could any of these walls be moved, so you could have a small lecture hall, a bigger one.
Yeah, so we want them movable, what we want, so that we could either have 3 smaller lecture halls or 2, large lecture hall and a very small one, or get rid of both of them. And today we need a huge lecture hall for a presentation.
And a mention was made that somehow the room needs to promote a feel of intimacy between the instructor and the students, so that both parties could see the eyes of each other and see each other and hear each other. So, and then over here, these would be more of the round tables, similar to this space with power, etc., but also have flexible, really well soundproofed walls, not like those hotels you go to conferences with. And so these would be movable walls, so you could conceivably have one class for a big lecture or big group session. You could have 2 in one, similar to that, or you could have 3 courses going on at once.
Now these quiet spaces, so this here is a quiet space, that there's a quiet space, and maybe this is too. These places out of the way with comfy seating for students to just sit quietly by themselves and read. We like that, we like to read. And I've noticed that around any campus you go to, here we like the reading, that students will seek out, and on the 3rd floor of the Union, I see them up there by the windows, right? So we like quiet spaces with windows. They like to sit in a window with a book. I mean, I did, right? Curl up with a book and let everybody just go away from me for a few minutes, right? So these quiet spaces need windows.
Does that sound like what we were talking about? Anything else?
Gentlemen, do you have anything to add? Anything you guys would like to add? How about our IT guy? Technology? Anyone that has to purchase it all, what do you think?
No, I mean, I think from the technology side, because we're designing this for future-based, it really comes down, I forgot who made the comment in the last session we had, but it's really about building the infrastructure to scale out to it.
Mhm.
So if we're going to be tearing down these walls and moving elevator shafts or whatever it is that we plan on doing with this, let's put in the proper sizing for it, because there's no point in picking out specific technology just as long as we can grow into it as we move around. So that's, theory should be easy.
Perfect.
What's, somebody, for real, how many kids could get into the lecture spaces right now? Do they know what the size of that classroom would be?
I was thinking they were about 90.
Right now, about 90 can fit in here?
Yeah, it's a guess, but having, I think that's the number.
So, and my,
Hmm? 84.
84.
Okay.
And that's basically
That's so far
84
off.
skinny students,
Yeah,
right?
that's really crowded.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
when this
Really crowded.
university says your classroom should hold 40, that's 40 really skinny students.
Right.
So, you know, comfortably all together, you know, I don't know, really.
So that was 90 lecture stuff. If you had
Yes.
tables
Right.
and chairs.
Well, this we're still gonna have sort of lecture style, like,
Wheelie chairs.
because the floor is already,
Tiered.
tiered. But this will have more,
That's good.
like this.
So that
This
this
will
was
have like
That
this.
gives you your diversity.
Right.
When you guys say movable walls, do you mean that once a semester they're either up or they're down? Because realistically, how are people gonna move walls around between classes?
What about like the walls like in the ballroom? Those are fairly movable, aren't they?
Just pull, a lot of them just pull.
And they seem to be fairly, well, I mean, they're fairly sound.
One of the things we talked about here was that, one, it can be awkward because of everything you have to do in that 10 minutes. You also move a wall and you know,
Right.
get people out of two rooms.
Right.
When you've got to open a wall
Right.
and that sort of thing. But two, the acoustics can be not as good and you can't put technology on those walls.
Right.
Okay, or
Right.
Right.
glass.
Right,
uh,
right.
Necessarily if you have them. So they can be limited.
I would think that the scheduling, that would be a challenge for scheduling, that if you have a large lecture going on, then that day, maybe
Have to
it's
plan
all.
it.
But if you
large,
had
yeah.
a large enough inventory of different style and size classrooms, then you could just pick one for the semester that fit your size and style.
Okay.
All right, great
Great
job,
job.
thank
Thank
you.
you.